The Employment Equity Act prescribes that designated employers should complete and submit employment equity reports. It is important to also understand the purpose of the Employment Equity Act, which is to promote equal opportunities, fair treatment of designated employees in order to eliminate unfair discrimination. It is also to promote affirmative action measures, and so doing they redress past discriminations that were done to people in the designated groups. Under the Employment Equity Act, designated group is Black people, which is classified as African, Indian, colored, and Chinese people, as well as women and people with disabilities.
A designated employer is any employer who employs more than 50 people, or any employer who employs less than 50 people but meets the threshold as prescribed by Schedule 4 of the Employment Equity Act. Schedule 4 of the Employment Equity Act sets out for specific industries the turnover threshold that would deem them to be a designated employer. Designated employers also include municipalities, any organ of state, as well as any employer deemed to be a designated employer through a collective agreement. Designated employers are required to consult with their employees, to conduct an analysis, to create an employment equity plan, and to submit a report to the Director General. An employment equity report should be submitted on an annual basis. As soon as the employer becomes a designated employer, at the next opportunity, the designated employer should submit a report.
The first step would be for the designated employer to get the employees to fill in the EEA-1 form, which is found on the Department of Labor website. This form would allow employees to fill in their gender, their disability status, and race. And then thereafter, the designated employer would have to consult with the representative trade union or representative employees in order to discuss matters pertaining to the employment equity report and employment equity plan. The designated employer has to have an EE manager, which this person has to directly report to the chief executive officer. If a designated employer does not have a representative trade union, employees should be allowed to nominate employment equity committee members, and these people would be able to represent the employees in consultation regarding the employment equity report and employment equity plan. The analysis process is a process whereby the designated employer looks at their policies and procedures in order to identify barriers that could negatively affect the employment of people in designated groups. The EEA-12 form, which is found on the Department of Labor website, could be used with regards to this. And in doing so, the designated employer should also consider the economically active population in the province or nationally. The Employment Equity Plan is a plan used to achieve fair representation of designated employees. The plan should not be shorter than a year or longer than 5 years. The plan basically states the objectives that the designated employer intends to achieve in order to ensure that there is fair representation of designated employees.
Other important considerations would be that the employer is required to place a copy of the Employment Equity Act available for employees in their workplace. Other documents that should be available to the employees would include the Employment Equity Plan, as well as a copy of the Employment Equity Report. These documents are public documents, and on the Department of Labor website, you would be able to find a list of employers who have submitted reports. Another very important consideration is that filing season opens for electronic filing between the 1st of September of each year, and it closes on the 15th of January of each year. You can only submit in between that period. There is no option for late submissions.